It seems that wildfires are raging beyond what many have considered to be normal in the past. Can you walk us through the factors that contributed to the Paradise Fire in November of 2018? Was it something that could have been avoided?
Yeah, so the Paradise Fire of 2018 was started by a downed Pacific Gas and Electric transmission line, very similar to what might have happened with the Dixie Fire. The utility reported to a state commission recently that they think they might have started that fire. So it was entirely preventable, really high winds, and within a few hours, the fire reached Paradise and tore through town, leveled most of it, homes, businesses, churches, most of the heart of downtown. And 3 years later, nearly, the town is still struggling to come back.
And as you said, in a matter of just 2 to 3 hours, the entire town was lost. You write the first code red alert, which indicates to residents that they need to evacuate, failed to reach close to 3,000 people. As you describe it, there was no robust system. What went wrong exactly?
Yeah, so the town of Paradise, like a lot of places across California, had prepared for situations they had dealt with in the past, which is fires that moved a little slower, didn't envelop the entire town at once. And so it was this perfect storm of events that led to the point where they couldn't really send out evacuation alerts. A lot of those cell towers were going down. It was a voluntary system, which meant that you couldn't get an alert unless you had signed up in advance. And there were also issues within the system to the point where when Butte County decided to try and issue an Amber Alert style message, they hit an error and the message never went out. So a lot of people woke up that morning to fire in their backyards, fire in their front yards, and had no idea what was happening because they did not get an alert.
You vividly walk the reader through the entire day of November 8th, 2018, with rather gripping accounts of the trauma and the heroism. Talk to us about the one particular school bus driver on board bus 963 who got stuck with a bus full of kids.
Yeah, so Kevin McKay was one of those people that day who just showed incredible heroism. He had gone back to school. He wanted to get his teaching degree to teach at his alma mater, Paradise High. And as part of that was driving a school bus part-time. That way he could also go to classes. And so he had only been on that bus a few months when the fire hit. And he found himself with this decision of, how do I get this bus full of children out of town safely when the roads are on fire? And it's just a hellscape outside. He did get them out. He was one of those people that was truly a hero.
It's now been nearly 3 years since Paradise. What's it like there now?
Yeah, so Paradise is trying to rebuild, but it's very, very slow. Even a year after the fire, only about 11 homes had been rebuilt. Earlier this year, that count went up to nearly 600, but still, if you think about the thousands of houses that burned down, it's not very much. So what you see is just block after block, there's a lot of empty lots where the debris has been cleared, but there's just vegetation. People haven't come back yet. And so it's just a shell of what it once was.
What do we all need to learn from what happened that day as we enter now a daunting 48-hour period in California where high winds are already causing fires to explode?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing to realize is that, climate change and these issues that we've had with fires in the past, the forest not being managed correctly, houses going up in places where they shouldn't, houses being built in fire-prone areas in ways that aren't fireproofing, that's something that we're having to live with now. And that, these fires are going to happen year after year because climate change is here and it's making all of those variables worse. And so you can't look at a fire like the Dixie Fire and just expect that it's the last one we'll see in a while. It's short-sighted. What we saw in Paradise, what we're seeing last year, the year before, this year, it's going to continue, and we need to make peace with that.
Right, what we are seeing now, certainly. Lizzie Johnson, we thank you so much for your time. Paradise, One Town Struggle to Survive an American Wildfire is available now wherever books are sold.